So what I was telling, I was dealing with your fixation of the smear. So you can see that after preparation of the smear, it needs to be fixed to avoid any further degeneration in the cells. And this fixation can be wet fixed or it can be air dried. It can be either wet fixed or it can be either air. In air dry, we do not use any chemical, but in wet fixed, usually chemicals like alcohol is used. It may be methyl alcohol, ethyl alcohol, but you are using some chemicals. Next is you can see in wet fixation, the different chemicals usually used are 95% alcohol, ethyl alcohol. It may be 100% ethanol. It can be a mixture of ether and alcohol. It can be absolute methanol. So when the smear is being wet fixed, that is by some alcohol, it need to be stained by Papanicolaou or HNA staining. And when the smear is fixed by air, we are not using any chemical. It is usually fixed by Ramanowski staining method. That can be Wright stains, Giemsa stain, May-Grunwald Giemsa stain, or Wright Giemsa stain. Uh, as I was telling you, there are different staining procedure, but at least now you should know this Papanicolaou staining technique. The smear in this technique is called as PAPS smear, and the staining method is called as Papanicolaou staining method. It is a very simple and very fast staining procedure which can be done within minutes, and the reports are usually given within minutes with a very high accuracy, and it is highly uh, useful in case of early diagnosis of cancer, say for example breast cancer or cervical cancer. So in this staining procedure, first of all you have to remove the polyethylene glycol fixatives in alcohol, 50% of alcohol, by keeping it for 2 minutes. Then it need to be hydrated under degrading alcohol concentration. First 95% alcohol for 2 minutes and then 70% alcohol for 2 minutes. Keep it in water for 1 minute. Then stain it with Harris hematoxylin for 5 minutes. Again rinse in water for 2 minutes. It is then differentiated in 0.5% aqueous HCl for 10 seconds, and then again rinsed in water. Then it is dehydrated in ascending grade of alcohol, first 70%, then 90%, then 95%. Two dips in 95% alcohol for 2 minutes each. Again strain with OG6 for 2 minutes. Again it is kept in alcohol in 95% alcohol for 2 minutes. Strain with EA50 stain for 3 minutes. And in last, it is finally rinsed with 95% alcohol for 1 minute. And the stained smear is mounted by using DPX like mounted and covered with cover slip. When a smear is stained with Papanicolaou, the outcomes are usually this hematoxylin usually stain the nuclei and the nuclei appears blue or black. OG6 is for keratinized cells which appears pink or orange. Eosin Y stain usually stain squamous cells, nuclei in RBC which appear red and pink. The cytoplasm appears blue or green. So different components of the cell stain takes different color in this PAPS sphere. So it is highly useful. In this slide, it is summary of how you can interpret the cells when you are doing cytopathology. So when you are observing under microscope, these cells can appear normal or abnormal. If it is normal, no problem. But if it is abnormal, it can be in terms of inflammatory condition or it can be in terms of non-inflammatory condition. Inflammatory condition again can be septic, that is containing any pathogens. It can be even non-septic, that is without any pathogens, that is the inflammation may be due to some physical injury where no pathogens is present. Again in non-inflammatory condition, it can be non-neoplastic or it can be neoplastic. If it is neoplastic, the chance is that it can be hyperplasia or it can be hypertrophy. But if it is neoplastic, then you have to differentiate it between benign and malignant. There are some criteria by which you can differentiate malignant from malignancy. Usually in malignancy, due to decrease in the cohesive force between the cells scattered apart from each other. Cluster of cells are usually not absorbed. Since there is deficiency in calcium concentration at the neoplastic site, the cells usually have less cohesive force and the cell therefore separate from each other. Second thing is that in malignancy, you can see that there is increased in the nuclear cytoplasmic ratio. In a normal cell, this NC ratio is about 1:2 or 1:3. But in neoplasia, this NC ratio becomes 1:1. That is to say, nucleus and cytoplasm occupy almost same space in a shell. Also, there is hyperchromasia where the nuclei, the chromosomes strain more, and also there is increase in the size of the nuclei. Then there can be also presence of mitotic figures, frequent presence of mitotic figures in the cells. So these are some features by which we can say that this cell is malignancy and this is not a benign cell. Finally, when you are studying the smear, it is graded into 5 classes: class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, and class 5. So in class 1, what you will see, the cells are usually normal. The cells are normal. But in class 5, the cells are showing highly malignancy. And if it is highly malignancy, further diagnosis you have to do by help of histopathological techniques. In between this class 1 and class 5, there are 3 other classes. Class 2, in class 2, there is no sign of any malignancy, but it can be due to some inflammatory changes. Some inflammatory changes are usually kept in class 2. In class 3, dysplastic changes are usually kept, which can be indicative of cancer, carcinoma in situ. And in class 4, this is suggestive of cancer. Here the cell starts showing malignant changes, and here also it is suggestive of cancer but not confirmatory for cancer. But in class 4, usually cancer are confirmed. However, histopathology should be done as an aid to the cytopathology. That is all about the cytopathology. But to create the beautiness and the interest for cytopathology, I would like to show you some picture. See, what is this? In this picture, you can see the granulation. The cytoplasm is containing huge amount of granules. It is even obscuring the nucleus. So this is a case of mast cells. This cytopathological picture shows the malignancy in the mast cells. What is this? You can see this is uh, macrophages. These are macrophages. So in cytological picture, you can see macrophages. These are macrophages. These macrophages appear like this. And what is this? This is a huge cell, and you can see many nucleus, multinucleated cells around the periphery. So it is an example of giant cells. And since the nucleus is at periphery, it appears to be a tubercle giant cells. That is Langerhans type of giant cells, which is seen in case of tuberculosis. This cell also depicts multinucleated cells. These both cells are giant cells. And this is a very good picture. What is this showing? This is showing the increased size of the nucleus. You can see the nucleus cytoplasmic ratio is highly increased. The nucleus is highly increased, and then the normal cell. Also, there are presence of mitotic figures and hyperchromasia. So it is a clear-cut indicative of malignant cell. Malignant cell. And what is this? You have to focus these two picture. In this picture, you see there is one cell. This is a single cell, and inside the cytoplasm, you can see another cell of similar type. So it is a case of cannibalism. Here, complete cannibalism has occurred, and it is in the process. The cell is going to be phagocytosed by the another cell, and here complete phagocytosis has been done. So it is a good case of cannibalism. It is very simple. You can see this pink reddish granules and this blue black dot nuclei. So it is sure that it is eosinophils. And why these granules are appearing apart or moving away from the nucleus? Because during the time of the smear formation, there might have been some crushing. So this is a technical fault. but it is sure that these cells are eosinophils. So it is indicative of eosinophilic effusions. Huge number of eosinophils are there. Some lymphocytes are also there, but the number of eosinophils is very much. So this is a case of eosinophil effusions. You see, this is a photograph under very low magnification power, but you can see the type of structure formed in the cytopathological view. So how it appears? It appears like finger-like. It appears as a papillary growth. So it might be a case of papilloma, appearing nipple-like or finger-like outgrowth. This is another picture. Here you can see this eosinophilic hyaline seed-like changes. So what can be this? So this is a case of keratohyalinization. Keratohyalinization, which is suggestive of squamous cell carcinoma where epithelial cells usually occurs. So this was my last slide. Thank you for patience hearing.